what kind of short-term programs we're doing.
I'm not sure that compulsory is the way to go. I'm more convinced that persuasion is a way to go.
Hong Kong respond to the call for internationalisation of higher education.
From an Australian perspective too, we have what I think is a very efficient whole-of-government approach.
IEAA is delighted to be able to jointly host this symposium on international higher education in the Asia Pacific.
This is the first time that APAIE and IEAA have come together for a joint symposium on issues that are really important in terms of international education.
We were able to bring together two key themes of research collaboration and student mobility.
The landscape of higher education is undergoing tremendous changes as the world is becoming more interconnected and globalized.
It's coming together on occasions like this that we can identify obstacles and then put in place strategies and tactics to overcome them.
What drives us? How do we do it? How can we do it better?
If we look at degree mobility, indeed, it's increased to 4.2 million, 4.3 million, but still the percentage of students that are taking that up is only 0.5% of higher education students in the system. And I'm going to suggest there's three system challenges that are becoming obvious: equity, scale, and authenticity. We have to increase the supply of opportunities. Second thing we need to do is remove exclusions. And then the third thing that we need to do under open access is mainstream and embed these opportunities within the degrees. So it's not an extra on the side, it is just something people do as a mainstream element.
Student mobility is something we know a lot about, that we value. But what are students' motivations?
Universities worldwide devote millions of dollars to the administration of funding of study abroad, and there's much anecdotal evidence, we've heard more already this morning, to suggest an overseas study experience is a very good thing. But there really have been very few metrics to measure that by, beyond knowing how many students may be engaged in short-term study abroad.
Just sending someone abroad, you will never be able to make sure that you will get that experience. What you need to do is REM, CIA.
In other words, the curriculum is not static. If the nature of students is changing, if the student exchange and student mobility is further changing their experiences, then how should that feed back into the transformation of the curriculum?
We can look at it from the perspective of international educators, but I think we need to remember the perspective of students, and that all of our students come from different backgrounds, and it's not really up to us, I don't personally think, to determine what is an intense and authentic experience. What does the individual student actually get out of it?
I think we are pretty much just at the beginning. The interest worldwide is just phenomenon, and it will spread like wildfire.
So what are the drivers for all this work in international research collaboration? Well, the first thing is the recognition that many of our problems are global.
We come together globally to research some of the most intractable, complex and social problems in ways that are interdisciplinary.
What is it that institutions do to promote research collaboration, and how is it that various patterns of collaborations can be established at the institutional level rather than individual level?
To be much more focused on finding people with whom we have cognate disciplinary knowledge and who bring skills and capacities to the university and who need our skills and capabilities to mutually benefit their industries and their organisations.
Research funding flows through to global collaborations 5 years after the first expressions of interest in collaborating. So it really is a very long-term game we're playing here.
We might have to institutionalize and build in more organization structure to nurture the relationship beyond the personal level, so that when the researcher moves out of the institution or even move out the country, that relationship still can continue.
We need strong, hard data to help convince government of the benefits, to help governments develop a whole of government response to this.
Nowadays,
everybody knows the cross-disciplinary research work is very important, and that's the new knowledge comes from such research.
I think it's becoming more apparent that research strategy can't be considered on its own. It has to be looked at in an integrated fashion as part of an integrated plan that embraces industry engagement, internships, mobility, internationalisation, and so on.
What we have done yesterday and today is raised a huge range of administrative questions, some conceptual questions, some philosophical questions, some cultural questions, some political questions, some policy questions. All of them are interrelated.
You know, we speak different languages, we look different, we have different governments and jurisdictions and economies, and yet there are so many issues we have in common. And one of the great ones, of course, is our students and the commitment that all the universities have to ensuring that their students become active global citizens.
I would think connectivity, creativity, and adaptability, and these three things, constitutes the core mission when we are trying to internationalizing higher education.
We should be focused, very, very much focused, not on international student mobility, that's part of the picture, not on international research collaboration and, cooperation with industry and the private sector, but more than anything else, produce top quality graduates, and our future will be secure.